Welcome. If you're thinking about making a move, maybe buying or selling a home here in the metro Atlanta area, you've probably heard the term MLS thrown around.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it comes up a lot.
Definitely.
Hmm.
So today we want to kind of break down exactly what that is and, more importantly, why it actually matters to you.
Right.
Think of this as maybe your personal shortcut to understanding a really key tool in the real estate world. And hey, if you've got questions along the way or about your own situation, you can always reach out to us at Airy Realty at 678-775-8108.
Yeah, absolutely. We're aiming to shed some light on what a multiple listing service, the MLS, actually is and the value it brings, especially for people navigating the sometimes tricky Atlanta real estate market, whether you're buying or selling.
Okay, perfect. So let's just jump right in the basics.
Huh.
What is an MLS?
Okay, so imagine like a huge online platform, almost like a private club, but for real estate brokerages here in Metro Atlanta.
Right.
That's essentially the MLS. It's where different real estate companies agree to share their listings, the homes they have for sale, with all the other member agents.
So they're pooling their information.
Exactly. It lets agents see pretty much everything that's available, and it also gives them loads of data about the market, prices, how long things are taking to sell.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, a lot of that information actually feeds into those big national websites everyone uses, like Zillow or Realtor.com.
Ah, okay. So that's where some of that data comes from.
Yep. But the MLS itself, the local one, has its own specific rules. They're really focused on making sure the information agents are using is accurate and transparent.
Makes sense. You need reliable info. So it's this central database for agents in our area, helps keep things accurate. Now let's think about the buyer. If I'm looking for a house in Atlanta, how does this whole MLS thing help me?
Oh, it's a huge advantage for buyers. Seriously. Because your agent has access to this system. They can search across listings from tons of different brokerages all in one place. It connects them directly with the agents who are actually selling those homes.
So I see more houses than if I was just like driving around or looking online myself.
Way more. You get exposed to a much, much wider range of options that fit what you're looking for. It really broadens your horizons. It's like having a master key to see what's genuinely available on the market that your agent is representing you on.
Okay, that makes total sense. More choice is definitely good when you're making such a big decision. So flipping that around, what if I'm the one selling my place? How does the MLS help me get, the best result?
Well, for sellers, listing on the MLS is probably the single most powerful way to get your home seen by the largest possible number of potential buyers, specifically buyers who are working with agents.
Right, the serious buyers.
Exactly. Because all the local agents are using the MLS daily, it's the trusted source for verified property info. Putting your home there gives it maximum visibility.
And more visibility means?
It often means more interest, more showings, and potentially stronger offers. Statistically, homes listed on the MLS, especially here in Atlanta, tend to sell faster and often for a better price compared to, say, just putting a sign in the yard or only listing it on certain websites.
Okay, so it's not just more eyes, it's the right eyes agents actively working with motivated buyers.
Precisely.
You mentioned transparency earlier.
Hmm.
Does the MLS also sort of help level the playing field, make things fairer?
It really does. By providing consistent, detailed information to all the participating real estate professionals, the MLS system helps promote fair housing. Everyone gets access to the same core listing data, which supports equal opportunity for buyers across the board here in Metro Atlanta.
That's good to know. Now, I've heard some people wonder, do you have to list your house on the MLS if you decide to sell? Is it, required?
That's a fair question, and the answer is no, it's not technically mandatory.
Oh.
The vast majority of sellers do choose to list on the MLS simply because of that huge exposure we talked about.
Yeah.
It's usually in their best interest. But you can choose not to. It's something you definitely want to discuss the pros and cons of with your agent.
And if you decide not to?
If you opt out of the MLS, your agent will likely have you sign a specific form, an exclusion form, basically acknowledging that you understand you're limiting your property's exposure by not putting it on the main platform.
Gotcha. Okay, switching gears slightly, there's been a lot of talk recently about how buyers' agents get paid. Has the MLS system itself changed around that?
Yes, there was a significant change that went into effect August 17th, 2024. The big shift is that offers of compensation to the buyer's agent are no longer displayed on the MLS listing itself.
Ah, okay. So you won't see it right there on the listing anymore.
Correct. However, and this is really important, It doesn't mean that sellers can't offer compensation to a buyer's agent. They absolutely still can.
So how is that communicated now, if not on the MLS?
It can be communicated through, well, other means. Things like flyers, maybe information shared directly between agents, on brokerage websites, even on a sign writer sometimes. The offer itself is still possible, it's just not advertised within the MLS data fields anymore.
Okay, so the mechanism changed, but the practice of a seller potentially offering to cover the buyer's agent fee can still happen.
Exactly. It's just handled outside of the main MLS listing information.
What about other incentives? Like, say, a seller offers to help the buyer with their closing costs. Are those seller concessions still mentioned on the MLS?
That's a slightly different thing. Sellers offering concessions helping pay for some of the buyer's closing costs, for example, is still a pretty common strategy, especially depending on the market conditions here in Atlanta.
Right.
How those concessions are specifically communicated on the MLS can sometimes vary based on local MLS rules. Some might have specific fields for it, others might describe it in the agent remarks, so your agent would be the best source for how that's typically handled right now in our specific MLS.
Okay, so it sounds like the MLS is really this powerful tool for agents. If I'm just a regular person, a buyer or seller, and I'm looking at homes online on those public websites,
Yeah.
am I getting the full picture? Or is working with an agent still the way to go?
Well, those public websites are definitely useful for browsing, no doubt. They pull a lot of their data from the MLS, as we mentioned.
Right.
But working directly with an agent, particularly a realtor like the folks at Area Realty, gives you a much more direct pipeline.
Oh, so.
They have real-time access to the absolute latest listings, sometimes even before they fully populate onto the public sites. They can set up very specific searches tailored exactly to your needs in the metro Atlanta area. Plus, they see all the agent-only information things like showing instructions, offer deadlines, and sometimes more detailed remarks about the property's condition or history.
Yeah, realtors have that code of ethics too, right?
Exactly. Realtors belong to the National Association of Realtors and are bound by a strict code of ethics, which means they're committed to protecting your best interests throughout the transaction. They can interpret all that MLS data, comparable sales, neighborhood trends, to give you really valuable advice.
So the public sites give you a peek, but the agent gives you the full toolkit and guidance.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. Understanding the MLS really clarifies how the whole market functions, how listings get shared, and how agents work together ultimately, to help you find the right home or sell your current one effectively here in Atlanta. It's a central hub designed for efficiency and ultimately consumer benefit.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really demystifies things a bit.
Yeah.
It's all about making your real estate journey, whether you're buying or selling here in the metro Atlanta area, feel smoother and more informed. So if you are feeling ready to take that next step, or even if you just have more questions about how this all works in our local market, please feel free to give us a call at Area Realty. The number again is 678-775-8108. We're always happy to chat about your goals. What other questions do you have about navigating the real estate market? We're here to help you explore further.